Customizing stage components. The stage components can be customized to appear in various forms. Stage components means there are two stage components mainly. One is the sprite, one is the background or the backdrop. So these two are the main components of a stage, the background and the sprite. So first, customizing the sprite. Customizing the sprite is similar to adding a new sprite or changing the sprite. The difference is in creating a new sprite or changing a sprite, you select a different sprite from the sprite library. But the difference of customizing a sprite is that the same object will be there, but it will have different forms. Different forms means different types of costumes, you may say. Suppose you are a person, you may wear a t-shirt, you may wear a shirt. So it varies, but you, the person, is the same. Similarly, here the cat, you can see the cat is the cat itself, but it may have different forms. Here it is in one form. Now if I want to change its form, I have to go to the costume given here. You see, this is one form by default. Another form is there. If I click on it, see, the form has changed. So the object, that is the sprite, is the same, but the form is different. So these are called costumes, and the process of giving a different form to the same object is known as customization or customizing the sprite. Now I will take a different sprite. To take a different sprite, or we can use from here new costume. Now you can see when you choose a costume library, you will see one object is having different types of forms. Here you can see this image of the girl. Same girl is having 4 types of forms or 4 types of poses. The same girl is giving 4 poses or 4 different looks. Similarly, here also you can see same object here, same girl giving different types of looks or pose. Suppose you want this dance, a girl is dancing here. If I choose this one and click on OK, it will appear on my stage. Now if I want this girl to be dancing in another position or in another form, then I have to go to the costume, in the choose a costume from library, that is changing the costume. Again I have to go to that similar girl, if I choose this one, the girl is same but her pose is different, her looks is different. See, the looks is changed now. So this is customizing sprite. And in this costume area you can see several types of sprites are there. Whatever you choose, you will see that it is appearing on the stage. That means this many costumes are available for you, but that does not mean you can take multiple sprites now only. This is a costume, that means any one costume you can choose at a time. If I choose this girl, this will be appear. If I choose this cat, it will replace that previous object, like that. This costume is different from sprite. This is the sprite list. That means Here, by using this sprite list, you can add multiple sprites on the stage, but the costume part is different. Costume means only one costume for the selected sprite. Whichever sprite you have selected here, for that you can have this many costumes in this, whichever is available in the costume area. So this slight difference you have to keep in mind, that you can add multiple sprites on the stage, but for each selected sprite there can be many costumes, and one costume can be present at a time. You cannot give multiple costumes to one single sprite at a time, because for example you cannot wear a t-shirt and shirt for the same time. Similarly, a sprite also cannot wear different costumes. It has to wear only one costume at a time. But on the stage there can be multiple sprites. I will come to the multiple sprites section later. Now, customizing backdrop. It is similar to customizing the sprite. For that you have to select a backdrop first. I click on this backdrop area, and when I click on this backdrop area, in the right side, whatever backdrops I have taken from the library, they appear here. Previously I have taken 3 backdrops. By default it is white, and more 2 backdrops I have taken. So whichever I choose, that backdrop will be applied to the stage. And if I click on the sprite, whatever sprites I have taken as costumes will appear in the costume area here. So you can position your sprite anywhere. And now to customize the backdrop, similar process. You have to click on the backdrop first, and here you will see the backdrop button will appear. If you click on the sprite, costume button will appear, because sprite wear costumes, and for backdrops it is different. If you click on backdrop, the costume buttons will vanish, because backdrops are meant for only backdrops, but costumes are meant for sprite. For this reason, when we choose sprite, costumes appear here, but when we choose backdrop, backdrop button appears here. That means now you can select a backdrop to your background. So basically, customizing backdrop is just like changing a backdrop, but customizing a sprite is slightly different from changing a sprite, because in changing a sprite you will have different costumes for the same object or sprite. Now, as I told, for a single sprite there may be multiple costumes, and one costume can be applied at a time, not more than one costume. But that does not mean you cannot have more than one sprite on the stage. You can have more than one sprite at the stage. Just to add a new sprite, you have to click on this choose a sprite from library here. You take a different sprite like this. This is a man, different man. Click on OK. Now you see 2 different sprites have appeared on the same stage. This one is somewhat small. You can increase the size by grow. So you can see two different sprites have appeared on the same stage. Now if you want to give a costume, you can give a costume for this separate man also. But you can see this object is having only one costume here, so we cannot give different costume to it. But if I take this girl and click OK, now I can give different type of costume to this girl because she's having a different type of variety. See, this many varieties are there for the same girl. So you can see there are two sprites on the stage and each sprite can have different type of costumes.